How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another ETH update. As I said in my past video, ETH is on the verge of exploding. All that's holding it back is 2.7, 2.8k. It's actually Bitcoin that's holding it back, of course. We need Bitcoin to break out. And if you came over from my Bitcoin video update, watch it if you haven't already. We spoke about this potential bearish head and shoulders pattern. That could mean Bitcoin could pump, ETH could break out a bit or get up into the 6.5 or maybe just get a little bit through. And if it's to create a right shoulder, pull all the way back down, then we could see a fake out over here. Now, I don't want that to be the case. I'm going to keep updating, see how this develops. But that's my concern at the moment. That's just immediate short-term stuff though. In a macro sense, once this is broken, it's a trigger to continue into 3.6k. It's quite a large move. Let's just double check how much that is percentage-wise, 35%. Now this final area of resistance, you can see once it was turned into resistance, it brought this dump. So it's going to be hard to flip it into support immediately. That means it's less likely to just break through like butter. Obviously, I might be wrong. We have to see how it develops. But most of the time, 9 times out of 10, even on this small scaled example here, now this pullback here is just like this entire dump. And I can place my fibs just on that small pullback like I did on this entire dump. Because I'm just using my fib on completed moves. And that right there is a completed move. And you can see if I zoom in for you guys, what Fibonacci did it actually get up into? It got into the 886, but failed to, well, it's higher in fact, but failed to close it above the 886. This is what we want to take a note of. With that being the case, even though it seemed bottomed, all the moving averages recovered before the bearish crosses. In another more macro example, maybe there were bearish crosses and then it flipped them back into bullish crosses. Not on this example, but of course you will see that also, where it recovers certain levels, looks like it's going to keep sustaining that move, and then just before you know it, just before a new high, at that final macro, 886 fib gets rejected. And here is an example where it put new lower lows. Now, not every single time is it going to make new lower lows. More likely on the micro than the macro, but not always the case. Just waiting and expecting struggle or a rejection from this point, knowing that we will have different expectations once it's broken. So on the break of 4k, could have avoided all this. And on the break of 4k, we would see 4.5, 5k next before the next pullback. That was all avoided because the 886 never broke. So it's the same situation up here. We could be pumping into the 886, but there's no guarantee of what comes beyond that. Now we can get ready, we can get excited, look at 5.5k and 8k as targets. There are targets even above that point, but don't get it twisted. As these are macro targets, there will be dumps, and you see how long they last. So a long way ahead, obviously getting a bit overexcited, looking too far ahead into the future. Let's worry about getting into 3.6k first, the 886 fib, because remember, those future price targets not guaranteed unless that area, the 886, is flipped into support. You saw back here on the micro scale, you can pump into it, doesn't mean anything. Just because there's levels above doesn't mean anything. I need to see that 886 broken, and if that's not the case, I don't have those expectations. So for micro analysis, yeah, well, we can say on the break of this, we're at least getting up into there. Then we'll take it from there, because there are previous examples where new lower lows could come. That'd only happen if in the bear market case. So I'm not expecting that, at least as of now. Can it develop into that? Absolutely. But as of now, waiting on Bitcoin to break out to see if it is going to create a right shoulder with that breakout, or if the breakout will sustain and ignore the right shoulder, ignore the head and shoulders pattern. That would then definitely help ETH reach 3.6k and drag it up another 36% from this very location. That is it from me today. Like, subscribe, comment, and share if you want to get educated. Use the links down below. I can help you create a DCA plan and mentor you on how to use the charts just like me, learn the strategy, use TradingView with ease, set everything up for you. Use the links down below to head over to the website. I'll catch you over there.